Pretty sure everything on this channel is for educational purposes only, is not intended as financial advice. What a couple of days it has been here in crypto land. You know, the silver lining of all this is really, it's going to be so obvious when we're bullish again that you won't need anybody to tell you otherwise, because you know what the ultimate bearishness looks like. You know, I got here in 2013. We had a year of bearishness, a year of sideways, and then one of the greatest bull trends of all time, right? I can only hope that we will see good times once again. Now, I don't think this is going to be a V bottom because of macro conditions. I'll get to that in a second. But just based on technicals, weekly super important for a few reasons, like the 200-week moving average. Not on here, but we're below the cloud. If you know anything about the cloud, that's telling you historically as well, there's a time to be long, there's a time to be short. It's a time to sit on your hands. And the cloud is telling you, don't expect higher highs anytime super soon. You know, we're sold off. You're going to see short squeezes. You're going to see crazy illiquidity spikes up and down. You're going to see tons of margin calls on both sides of the book. You're going to see fear, greed, right? You're going to go through all the 7 Kubler-Ross stages of grief. You're going to see it all, okay? We're in a very interesting time here. Something that Bitcoin really has never seen, in that we're in a rapidly rate rising environment. So it's a good test from a macro standpoint. I mean, the whole world is collapsing here economically, let's be honest. This isn't just a crypto thing or a Bitcoin thing or an ETH thing or a Celsius or whoever thing. It all is just a giant negative feedback loop right now. So weekly's a mess, right? We won't be bullish again until we're back above the cloud. We haven't even crossed bearish on the cloud yet. You can see just the duration. If there's one thing, just know that, yeah, we're going to have a bull market again eventually. I'm sure of it. Okay. The second thing I'm sure of is it's going to take probably a year to turn this ship around. Okay, this is a freight, ocean-bound, multi-month journey. Okay, this is not a skiff. This is not a sea-doo. We're not going to just magically repair all this damage that we've done psychologically to people and everything else, right? We've got regulations coming, no doubt, surrounding the Celsius stuff, but that's just speculation, by the way. It's important I probably say that, but I'm pretty certain we're going to see some regulations around what lenders in crypto can and cannot do going forward. Now here's the daily, 2018 all-time high, probably a level people are watching. We're not there yet. We're getting there rapidly. The 200-week moving average, we are just below that. Historically, we don't get too much further below. I'm not going to call a bottom at all because we're seeing some crazy stuff in DeFi surrounding the Celsius nonsense. That is just waterfall, cascade, liquidations, all sorts of reasons. People shoring up different positions that need different collateral, blah, 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 right? Like there's 10,000 million things going on right now. And all of that is bad. You know, all of that creates more fear, more selling, more liquidations. And that's how we get candles like we did yesterday, the day before that. That's how we're down 10 weeks in a row on ETH. Levels wise, I think ETH is starting more and more to look like a buy. You know, the problem with ETH is if you zoom out, much like any alt right now, the problem is, you know, where do you draw the line, right? Where is support here if it's not at previous all-time high? You can just, you know, pick your levels. This is a good one. That's 400. Okay. So, you know, I wouldn't go mega uber turbo long margin here. But, you know, we're down, what, 70%, 80% from all-time highs here. It's getting to the point where eventually this stuff's going to settle down and recover, right? It may take you months to get above water on the spot position. I'm not encouraging anybody to do anything here. I'm just saying, look, let's be real. Let's be rational for a second. ETH has a lot of issues going on with it relative to DeFi and those liquidations. But we're seeing a lot of forced selling across the board. We're seeing people sell risk in crypto to shore up positions in legacy and DeFi. It's a mess all around. ETH, you know, on the weekly looks just as bad as BTC, looks worse. On the daily looks just as bad, right? This is reminiscent of 2018 for me because you just get one leg after another leg after another leg. Miners aren't really selling that I can tell. This isn't like one specific whale besides Celsius breaking the market. Just a confluence of factors across the board. So what you really want to see here is kind of, lower lows. I'd love to see this thing break 1,000 and see what happens. I'd love to see lower lows on higher RSI. I'd love to see some sort of pattern form. These patterns, just broke down over and over and over again. It'd be nice to get a pattern that's a reversal pattern start to emerge. This will take time. This market wants you to act quickly. And one thing you can do is say, no market, I will not act quickly. I will DCA and pray. I will DCA and walk away. I will wait for a tradable signal, whatever. Totally acceptable. But just be careful thinking this thing can't go lower, because there are forces in the DeFi system that are unwinding themselves rapidly here. I know I go from dark to light mode here, sorry, but CPI in the US, 40-year high. So that means the Fed is probably raising rates more aggressively than they were previously. And that just means more death for risk assets, more death for legacy. Again, this is just a negative feedback loop. We are a part of that. Being in the crypto world, here are the DeFi liquidations. Maybe they don't look that big on the grand scheme of things, but when there isn't anyone on the other side of that trade, and we're seeing forced liquidations in a very fearful market, I think you get what we're seeing now. It feels like it's bottomless and there's nobody on the other side of this trade. Nobody is willing to step in front of that freight train. There's no Superman today. And a big part of that is Celsius. This is one of their wallets, allegedly. Really all you need to know about Celsius, other than them halting withdrawals, they basically got caught being unable to unwind this efficiently through Curve. They currently have 409,000 staked ETH, which is a liquid staking derivative. What they did was, just as many people have done, is stake ETH for a yield and then convert that to get more yield. And they, suddenly couldn't convert that to get out to pay people who were withdrawing allegedly. So this isn't a Gox, it didn't get hacked. It's not all gone, allegedly. It's probably, over time they might be able to pay this back if they get that opportunity. But ultimately they couldn't pay obligations that they have now, probably, allegedly, right? That's why you would halt withdrawals. They probably are also OTCing their staked ETH in some way, allegedly, maybe with FTX, allegedly. I don't know. There's tons of things they could do, and hopefully they're not acting too stupid and desperate behind the scenes. Something else to watch from them is this MakerDAO vault. Currently has 24,000 BTC in it. Liquidation price of 16.8. Here's the ultimate problem with DeFi. This forced liquidation stuff pushes everything lower. It's just a massive waterfall cascade that has very difficult times operating in a bear market, because you have to continuously add collateral in stuff like this and hope that the market doesn't eventually go against you anyway, which then pushes the price down lower anyway to a greater degree. I'm not going to talk about the Bitfinex longs at all. I know they're at all-time highs. I don't know what's going on there. Seems like a suicide mission to me. But I hope whatever the entity is doing that knows what they're doing, because again, that is a massive potential long squeeze that is going to get unwound at the worst possible time, should they need to begin unwinding that. Maybe their liquidation level 0, maybe they have infinite collateral, I don't know. But that's also something to watch if that starts unraveling. Lastly, I'm going to hit on these looking at Bitcoin charts. Looking at Bitcoin loading pretty slowly here. That's a signal. That's an alt data signal for you that there's a lot of people on this website. Lots of people looking at this data, certainly. We'll start with the 2-year MA. I talk about this one all the time. Again, historically, all we have is 10 years of data. And we look at overbought, oversold here. It's in the green. Green is the DCA zone, not investment advice. But, if you DCA'd in every green zone that's ever happened, you'd be a pretty happy camper. Even today, you'd be fine. Okay? So will there be a lot more pain? I don't know. But stuff like this is encouraging, certainly. 200-week moving average, again, that's at 22.2. We're kind of dancing around that, hip-hopping around that now. We are certainly at a better buy than we were, at 60, at 20, at 1,000, where I bought in 2013, based on TA, right? This could break. The past doesn't break the future, caveat, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Don't trade your lunch money. But these levels are getting quite interesting. This is fear and greed. It's got to be an all-time low. Extreme fear. Is there even a score for this? Maybe he took the score off the site. But, it's 10 or less, right? Again, it's reminiscent of 2018. 2018 was similar. You know, we had Legacy collapsing, we had Tether collapsing, we had BSV and BCH, ABC, Civil War, whatever, fork. There's usually an unraveling period. There's usually deleveraging period. We're feeling all that now. This has been happened before. It'll happen again. It's a Bitcoin rainbow chart. Bit of a meme. Doesn't look like it's loading in properly. But again, we are nearing those levels of what is called fire sale, according to this chart. Puell Multiple also digging. You know, again, this isn't loading properly, but trust me, you know, we're in areas where we've bottomed historically before. No guarantees. It's a different time. You know, we got Fed hikes coming. It's going to get ugly for everybody and everything out there. So keep that in mind. If you are DCAing, you know, have a plan and just ignore price. Literally just buy every Friday at 5 o'clock or whatever you do every Tuesday. I forget what the better day is historically. It's either Monday or Tuesday. I always feel like we're down at the end of Thursday EST, but what do I know? Yeah, pick a day, let it ride. If that's your vibe, you know, don't pay attention to price. Here's MVRV, something else again. We're talking about realized price when the coins last moved on chain. We're basically at that level now. As this will update tomorrow, and we are in an area where on-chain price is higher than current price. So take that for what you will. That's all for this one. Really, not much else to say. Like, dislike, comment, share, subscribe. Happy trading.